Hey, what is going on, guys? This is DK back at you with another video. Directing on the 6-game NBA main slate on Sunday. A couple of things before I get in the video. If you're new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos talking about NBA, NFL, and XFL daily fantasy sports. I'm also running a weekly $20 PayPal giveaway on my channel. How it works, all you have to do is leave a like and a comment in the video. That's one entry in the giveaway. Max one comment per video. So it started with my NBA video on Thursday. We'll go throughout the week, and not tomorrow, but the next Monday is where I'll announce the winner to the weekly $20 PayPal giveaway. So however many videos I've uploaded for this extended week, you can end the giveaway that many times. If I have 10 videos uploaded for the week, you can end the giveaway 10 times. And again, the winner receives $20 PayPal for myself. With that out of the way, let's jump in the video. So first, briefly talking about last night, didn't play a whole lot last night. Did play one small lineup in the the $10 or the $15 tournament. Had Brunson though, so unfortunately my day was over right when it started because Brunson got injured in the first minute. If you guys didn't play yesterday, Luka and Porzingis got ruled out, so I was like, load up on the Dallas guys. I played DeLon Wright, Brunson, and Maxi Kleber. Again, unfortunately, Brunson got injured right away, so my night was over. But all right, let's talk about this slate for tonight. So we'll start with center as always. Big news here is Towns is still out. He's going to be out for at least a couple more weeks. We also have D'Angelo Russell out. So this is where we can get some value here from Minnesota. Now the concern is, actually, let's take a look at some numbers here. We have the Pacers and the Raptors sitting at 218.5. The Raptors are 6-point favorites. We have the Timberwolves and the Nuggets sitting at 220.5. The Nuggets are 13.5-point favorites. So definitely some blowout risk in this game. Spurs Thunder sitting at 222. The Thunder are 5-point favorites. Wizards Bulls 228.5. The Wizards are 2-point favorites. The Pelicans and the Warriors 239.5. Pelicans are 9.5-point favorites. There's definitely some blowout risk in this one as well for Golden State. And then Pistons Trailblazers sitting at 223 with Portland favored by 6. So yeah, Cat being out. And D'Angelo Russell being out, that's this huge usage to go around for this Minnesota offense. Not really the best matchup, but there's definitely going to be some value here. We'll talk about a guy like Naz Reid, who kind of out of nowhere picked up the start and played 30-plus minutes. We hadn't seen Naz Reid play over 22 minutes all season, and they really let him free. He played in 33 minutes. We'll talk about him in a bit. Jokic, I like a good amount. It's just, do you think this game stays close, right? It's one of the best possible matchups here against Minnesota with, again, them being so thin. He's going to be matched up against like Naz Reid or an undersized James Johnson. He should be able to have his way. It's just, do you feel confident Minnesota keeps this close so he plays the full quarters of action? So bonus at that price, still don't know if I get to him against Toronto. Whiteside, his price is creeping up now. 9.7 makes it a little bit tricky. I still think he can definitely get you there, but he's no longer the great value he was when he's like the 8 to 8.5K range. Siakam had a really good game last game, partly due to Ibaka being in severe foul trouble. Super tilting about that. But 65 the other night, I'll let others chase. 9.2K feels like too much to pay for him. Zion Williamson, I like at 8.5. The issue is just, the minutes aren't really moving for him. He's not playing like 35 plus. The price tag is going up too, and there is a little bit of blowout risk in this one. So I think Zion is fine, but I probably prefer some of the cheaper Pelicans guys we'll talk about in a bit. Aldridge at 7.5 is always, a fine, safe option. He'll probably get you, around 35 fantasy points with a little bit of upside. It's a decent spot, but not great spot, so I just think he's okay. Christian Wood, this is kind of dependent on if he starts or not. If he starts, I would really like him at this price. If he comes off the bench, I'm just worried about his minutes. So Detroit ran a really silly lineup last game with Thon Maker, the 5, Christian Wood coming out the bench for some reason. So stupid. We got to keep an eye on this. If Woods continues to come off the bench, he's just a very risky option because he's not going to play most likely more than 30 minutes unless he somehow starts the second half. So yeah, I would like him a lot if he starts. If he comes to the bench, not as much. Steven Adams had a really big game last game. I'll let others chase. His price is coming up. I do like Serge Ibaka once again. We still have no Marc Gasol. I'm not going to be too worried about the last game where he got in foul trouble. Still super tilted about it, but he missed out on about 10 to 12 minutes there. He picked up 4 fouls in like a 5-minute span in the second half. A couple of those weren't even fouls, so that was even more tilting. But yeah, normally he's going to play about 35 or so minutes. We know the Pacers run big, so I think Ibaka is a really solid play there in the mid-range at 6.7. This is pretty big news with Marquise Chris. We have Draymond already ruled out, and Chris is questionable. If he can't go, The Warriors are going to be super, super thin at the front court. They'll probably have to start Kevon Looney or Smoljic. We'll talk about some of the Golden State value here, but Golden State is a team that could be super, super thin today. Naz Reid, so, man, kind of out of nowhere, they started him. I didn't think he was going to play more than like 23 or so minutes. He played 33 minutes, which is really good to see because he's a solid point per minute guy. Now, the concern is he is in foul trouble a lot, and he's going to be going up against Nikola Jokic. So there is some severe foul trouble risk. If you want to take that shot and hope he stays out of foul trouble, he could have a really good game if he gets over 30 minutes. So it's all about your risk tolerance there with Naz Reid. Rui at 5.3, I think he's fine, but I don't think I get to him. It's just Washington has so many guys now healthy in the front court, it makes it a little bit tricky. James Johnson ended up coming off the bench, played 21 minutes. I think he's fine, but not like my favorite value play there. Thonmaker started, but he got less minutes. Again, I would like it more if they start both Thonmaker and Christian Wood together, because I think that kind of solidifies both their minutes. Thomas Bryant at 4.5. He only played 16 minutes. I don't think I can do it. I need to see him play more minutes first. Kind of the same thing from a Wagner. Heaney, I don't think I get to him. Now, Gafford, he started with no Cornette. He played pretty solid. 25 minutes, 22 fantasy points. I wouldn't mind going right back to Well here if he starts again. I assume we probably get around 25 again. It's a good matchup. So I do like Daniel Gafford a good amount as a value play there at that price. You could always look to Felicio, I guess, but I would prefer Gafford. I think he's a better point per minute guy. So now these Golden State guys. Let me just go to Golden State really quick. Chris is questionable. Draymond Green is out. They can use Pascal a bit at the small ball. They could use Toscana Anderson. But yeah, they could be real, like Looney or Smoljic should pick up a start. We got to keep an eye on the starting lineup here because if we already know Draymond's out, if Chris is out too, that's two players in the starting lineup that's out. I would assume Eric Pascal gets inserted in the starting lineup, and I would assume one of these bigs, whether it be Looney or Smoljic, get entered in. So whoever ends up starting, I'd have the most interest there for Golden State. So we got to keep an eye on their starting lineup for sure. Move on to power forward. We already talked about a lot of these guys at the top. Let's see. Brandon Ingram, another very tilting part about Friday night. He had a great first half and then picked up 4 fouls right away, or a couple fouls right away in the second half, and got missed out in about, 8 minutes or so. So I think he's a pretty solid play at this price at 6.9. His price didn't move again. I would not be super concerned about only playing 28 minutes. He was in severe foul trouble there in the second half. So I do like Ingram a good amount there at that price point. Thad Young's had 2 solid games, 36 and 31 minutes, 48 and 34 fantasy points. Really good matchup. The issue is just, 6.5. That makes it a little bit tricky to get to Thad Young, even that good of a matchup. TJ Warren has been great the last couple games. Probably a situation where I'll fade. I get it if you want to go there, but he's not a guy that's going to continue to shoot the ball this well. 16 of 19 there against Milwaukee. Had 52 fantasy points, 48 fantasy points the other night. 35 and 27 real-life points. Again, my concern with him is he is very scoring dependent. This is not a good matchup. His price is coming up. I think I will pass here on TJ Warren. Melo, I think, is a pretty solid play at 5.6. He was also in a little bit of foul trouble against the Pelicans. Only played 32 minutes, 31 fantasy points. So no Damian Lillard. There is so much usage to go around. So I do like Melo a good amount here at this price. Again, Detroit not very good defensively right now. Let's see. Other options here. Hernan Gomez. He got limited a bit that last game, only 26 minutes. We probably get somewhere between 25 to 35 minutes from him at 5.1. I think he's a viable option. It is a revenge game narrative too, so he is in play there. Pascal, I would like a good amount. I assume he is going to start. He's at 4.4K in a really good matchup. Golden State has they're very, very thin in the front court. So Pascal's one of my favorite value plays right now. Again, I assume he starts at that price. MPJ, don't think I can get to him. They just, limited him a lot. Only put 8 minutes last game back. Sekou did play 34 minutes. Now, he hasn't been a great point per minute guy, but I think he's a dart throw cheap option in play if he's going to get 35 minutes again in a good matchup there against Portland. Toscana Anderson, again, if Marquise Chris misses, Golden State is going to have like an 8-man rotation, I believe, unless they call up some people from the G League. I haven't seen that yet. So let me just go to Golden State really quick, and then I can come back here. So Golden State right now, active players that I see on the roster. Wiggins, again, let's assume Marquise Chris is out. So it'd be Wiggins 1, Damian Lee 2, Poole 3, Pascal 4, Bowman 5, Toscano Anderson 6, Looney 7, Smaldridge 8. They could have an 8-man rotation if Chris misses. I would really like to get some of those Golden State value guys in my lineup if Chris is not available. Again, a guy like Toscano Anderson, don't know a whole lot about him, but he would be probably a guy that gets around 25 or so minutes at 3.3K. He's flashed a little bit of upside that last game, so I would like him a good amount there if Chris can't go. I think that does it for power forward. Let's move on to small forward. Wiggins at the top at 8K. No Draymond Green, possibly no Marquise Chris. He's going to have to do a lot offensively here. The concern with him always is he is very, very scoring dependent. It is a good matchup. I would probably rather get to the cheap guys in Golden State, but if you want to like full-on game stack this, if you want to go with the cheap Golden State guys, pair them with Wiggins and run it back with a couple Pelicans guys for GPPs, I don't think that's the worst idea. DeRozan at 7.2. Seems a little bit underpriced. He's going to get about 35 or so minutes. Again, him and Aldridge are viable. They don't really stand out as great plays to me, though. Bruce Brown had a good game off the bench, played 32 minutes, had 41 fancy points. Don't know if we can expect that again. I would like it a little bit more if he starts, so we'll see what Detroit does with their starting lineup. Will Barton, I actually think, is a pretty solid play here. In his first game back, played 32 minutes, had 36 fancy points. So if he's going to play those type of minutes, mid-30s minutes in a really good matchup, I think he's a really solid play here at this price. Now, the concern, again, is there is some blowout risk in this one, but at 5.4, I don't think he's going to kill you at that price. Gary Trent Jr. started, played 37 minutes. The issue is he is very, very scoring dependent. At 5.2, it makes it a little bit tricky to get to him. Ariza at 5K is going to play big minutes. I think I would prefer Carmelo, though. I like his upside a little bit more compared to Trevor Ariza. Again, Pascal, I already talked about, really like him at that price. Svi started, played 28 minutes. He's kind of in that same territory as Sekou. A lower usage guy, but if he's going to get the big run, I think he's a viable punt option. All right, I think that does it for small forward. Let's move on to shooting guard. Beal at the top at 9.6 had a disappointing game there against Cleveland. Shot the ball terribly, 9 of 28, only had 34 fantasy points. Again, the good thing with him is he's always going to play about 35 or so minutes. We know he's going to shoot the ball a ton. Chicago has been solid defensively, but I think he is in play as a spot up there at that price. LaVine, I think I would slightly lean towards LaVine over Beal, but it's close. LaVine's been a little bit more up and down, but his minutes have been locked into about 35 to 40. This is a much better matchup on this side of the ball. So I do like LaVine a good amount there at 9.1. CJ, I really like at 8.4. With no Damian Lillard, he's just going to have to do it all offensively. He had 50 the last game. They priced him up, but I still think he's slightly underpriced right now for his role with no Lillard. So I do like CJ a good amount there. Again, we're saying at 223 over under. I think CJ is one of the better spend up plays for sure. Drew Holiday at 7.8. I think it's definitely in play here. Again, if you're going to run like a game stack of this game, I don't mind going there. I think I would prefer Brandon Ingram for about $1,000 less, but Drew is still viable. Let's see. Fred VanVleet at 7.6 just seems priced about right. I don't think he's a great play there. Malik Beasley's going to have to do a lot offensively here for Minnesota. He's been playing big minutes, 32, 38, 36 minutes. He's flashed the upside. Revenge game spot here against Denver. So I think he's a pretty solid play here, even at this price, just because, who is going to score the ball for Minnesota? No D'Angelo Russell, no Karl-Anthony Towns. Beasley's probably going to be their go-to guy. Now, I'll talk about a value guy, Jordan Laughlin, who I think would be one of the top value plays if he starts at point guard in a bit. But Beasley, at this price, I like him a good amount there. Kobe White's always viable. He's a little bit up and down, but if he's playing well, he can have upside games, right? So again, 1739, 1742. A little bit up and down, but right now he's getting the good minutes. It's a really good matchup, so I'm okay into Kobe White there, even at that price. Jordan Poole's going to have to do a little bit more offensively, especially, again, if Chris misses. He's been playing, pretty consistent minutes, 31, 32, 32 minutes. He's been shooting the ball a decent amount. It's a good matchup. The concern with him is, again, he is a little bit scoring dependent, but I think he is a viable, cheap option for sure. Simons was a guy that was pretty popular last night. He was okay, or the other night, 27 minutes, 19 fancy points. I would like him a little bit more if he starts. If he comes to the bench, I think we'll probably get about the same minutes from him. Again, my concern is he is a little bit scoring dependent. I think that really does it, though, for shooting guard. So let's move on to point guard. Again, no Lillard, no D'Angelo Russell. I do like CJ a good amount. I think Lowry is always a safe option, 8.3. He's a guy that fills up the stat sheet, so he's fine if you want to get to him for cash games. Chris Paul feels a little bit expensive right now at 8.2. I know he's been playing really well, but I think I'll just prefer getting to CJ at a similar price. Jamal Murray, definitely viable. Again, my concern with these expensive Denver guys is just the potential for a blowout here. If you're confident Minnesota keeps it close, then you can target Murray, you can target Jokic. Lonzo Ball, I think, is a pretty solid play at 7.3. He's been playing really consistent minutes, 35 to 40 minutes. He's been really, consistent production-wise. So I think he's a pretty safe option there at that price. Oladipo's questionable. That is somewhat significant here. He's been terrible, but if he misses, that could be a little bit more minutes for Jeremy Lamb, maybe the Holiday brothers. So got to keep an eye on there with Oladipo. Brogdon at 7K. We'll probably have to do a little bit more offensively if Oladipo misses. I think he's fine, but not like a great play. DeJounte Murray had a big game last time out, 34 minutes, 45 fantasy points. He's actually had, his last 4 games have been really productive here. 48, 37, 42, and 45 fantasy points. The price is coming up, but like I said, he's been playing really, really good. If he's going to play minutes into the 30s, I think he's a solid play at this price. It's just, can you trust Popovich to continue to give him those type of minutes? I think if he's playing bad, we've seen him where he's not had a great game. Popovich will give those minutes to Derek White or Patty Mills. So that is the concern. But if you're confident he plays over 30 minutes, I think he's a pretty solid play there at that price. D Rose, the big question is for me, what do I do with Derrick Rose? That first game against Milwaukee only played 23 minutes, and it was a blowout, but still, he wasn't on pace to play big minutes no matter what. I'm a little bit torn here because Detroit is just super thin. They don't have a lot of guys who can score the ball. If Detroit's going to keep this game close, probably because of Derrick Rose, but it's just those minutes that concern me with him right now. Again, even in, he wasn't on pace to play big minutes no matter what. So, like I said, I'm a little bit torn. I do like his upside. I think, if Detroit's going to keep it close, we're probably going to see a big game from Derrick Rose. So, I'm a little bit undecided on him right now. I do like his upside, though, especially if he gets like 30-plus minutes. Stan Aransky was terrible. It's partly due to Kobe White having a big game. He had about 0 of 8, 23 minutes. This is a revenge spot. He's had a couple of good games against Washington recently. I think he's okay at this price, but not like a great value. Laughlin would be the guy I would like a lot, especially if he starts. We got to keep an eye on the starting lineup news. No D'Angelo Russell. I would assume he starts. That game against the Clippers when D'Angelo Russell wasn't there, I believe, or was out, played 37 minutes, 48 fantasy points. He's a really solid point per minute guy. So if he starts at point guard, I would like him a lot there. He'd be one of my favorite value plays for sure. Kai Bowman, even at this price. Golden State is a super thin. He played 28 minutes off the bench, 21 fantasy points. He would be a viable punt option. Golden State, again, they could have an 8-man rotation here, so that could be where we get some value for sure. I think that really does it for point guard. So, again, this slate is a little bit tricky because we have value plays in games that could blow out, right? The Minnesota guys, there's some value there, but there's a good chance the game blows out. We have, Golden State value, another game where there's a decent chance that game could blow out. So that's why the slate is a little bit tricky, but hopefully this video helped you guys for this Sunday NBA slate. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for today's video, guys. If you have been enjoying the content, would really appreciate it if you'd like this video and subscribe if you haven't. Again, if you want to get entered in the giveaway, all you have to do is like and a comment in the video. It's a one stream giveaway. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to live stream for this one, but I'll try to keep you guys updated with news and stuff on my Twitter, so that's why it's important to follow me on Twitter. But thanks again, guys. Really do appreciate it, and I will see you guys all tomorrow.